Hey, good morning, guys. It's a fine Thursday morning. Time for another live chat on a morning walk. This topic is actually near and dear to my heart, and something I want to get to everybody else that's out there. So I'm going to give 30 seconds. So I'll let it run for 1 minute to let everybody show up to the live stream, because I know it's early in the morning for some, and we're just getting started with the day. So it is unusually cold in Arizona right now. On this walk, we had a cold front blow in about a week ago. It's about 50 degrees, which is I'm looking at Jetali from Chicago jumping in saying hello from Chicago. And I bet you he's thinking 50 degrees would be amazing. Toronto, 21 degrees. Nice. So good. We're a minute in. So let me talk about, first off, what is this live stream about, where I said how to be an extraordinarily successful lazy network engineer. Sorry, this isn't my dog. It just follows me around. So, so just, oh, welcome to the world of live streams, where there's a dog that just kind of follows me as I walk. So I obviously pick up not only YouTube folks, but dogs. So when I go out and walk, I have a friend. It's the best dog I never had. Where was I? Okay, the topic of the live stream. Sorry, beauty of live streams. You never know what's going to happen. How to be an extraordinarily successful lazy network engineer. The reason I'm choosing this as the topic, and let me tell you what I was thinking the other title would be: how to live in network engineering without stress. Now, that's never something that I can 100% deliver, because there's nothing in life. As a matter of fact, life would not be exciting without stress. But in the world of network engineering, and a lot of you know what I'm talking about. Hello, Florida. A lot of you know what I'm talking about. There's a level of stress that you reach that is unlike any other profession. When connections go down, the entire organization looks to you, and you're going, I don't know what to do. So thus the reason for the title is how to eliminate that from your life. How to live a minimal stress career as network engineering. So I've got 5 things I'm going to run through. And then I'm just going to open it up for any questions. So let me hit the 5 things, see if I can remember. I got them on a note card in my pocket just in case. So number 1 is design networks with redundancy and accept nothing less. What I mean by that is, a lot of times we'll be in conversations with management, and we'll be talking to them, and they'll say, can we get by without that connection? And we feel like we're doing a good thing because we're saving the company money, and we're like, yeah, and we'll usually say something like, the fiber connection is pretty good, so I don't think we need that DSL backup or coax backup, cable modem backup, whatever you want to call it. Okay, that saves $300 a month or something like that. We feel awesome. But the challenge is, when that connection goes down, all eyes are on you, and they don't really care about the $300 a month anymore. So in the end, you're not doing the organization a favor by eliminating redundancy to save cost. You're doing yourself a disservice by doing that. And in the end, the organization will hugely appreciate the design. They'll soon budget in and forget about the $300 a month. It'll be part of the cost of doing business for them. But for you, it's like oxygen You can breathe when connections go down, knowing that you have a backup. So when I'm talking about redundancy, I'm talking about, I saw somebody type it in the chat, 2 is 1, 1 is none. 2 connections. Businesses die without internet connections. Why would you choose to have a single internet connection at a business that literally stops if that connection goes down? It's like the power, you know what I mean? If the power goes out, business stops. So keep that thing running. So connections, devices, meaning just this morning, it was like when I came up with this topic, it's like God is like, let me just give you an example of this. Right as I was getting ready for this live stream, I saw an alarm go off at VIA. We had one of the connections go down, and I looked and I go, well, that's interesting. So I got in there and I shot a ping to the connection. I'm like, oh, okay, it's up. Why is it reporting down? Sure enough, the router that's attached to that connection had locked up. So SSH, HTTPS, all of that is frozen. It's not functional, but ping works because you still have some ASICs running or something like that's keeping that thing going. It's running in memory. It just needs a hard reboot because nobody can get to it. So devices freeze. It happens. Literally happened 15 minutes ago when I was about to go out for a walk. So I'm like, man, but I'm like, what a great example. You know, how to live an extraordinarily lazy network engineering life where you can see that and go, because I know at that site, they have a second router and everything failed over, internet's working, and life is good for them. So connections, devices, and one thing I'll add in there is having a cold backup. What I mean by that is a lot of times, like for instance, switches, WAPs, they don't usually fail. They just don't. So a lot of times people will equip their network with exactly what they need and then move on. Always have something in the closet, you know what I mean? Like just, you know, when you're ordering 8 48 port switches, order a 9th and stick it in the closet. When you're ordering 20 WAPs, order 21 and stick it in the closet. So that way, if something does go down, you're not, I mean, I've been there. You're not driving around to Best Buy or something because shipping can't get it there fast enough, putting in some Linksys piece of junk. Wait, no, Linksys is great. D-Link piece of junk, or Netgear or something like that, just because you have nothing in backup, right? Whoa. So that's number 1. Number 2, I got to pull out my note card. It's funny. I was thinking, I had all these things in my head. Test failover. This can be quick, but it's so relevant. Watching me on a big screen, nice, live and in color. So test failover. There's so many times. Just again, I'll use this morning example. We had tested failover at that location. We knew if that router went down, it would fail over and bring the connection up. I know what I'm saying sounds so like, well, duh. But I'm telling you, when it's midnight and you just finished the configuration, there's something that happens in your brain and you're like, we'll test failover later, or I'll test it from home. But you never do. You get home and you're like, I'm so tired. It went well, everything's up, everything's running. And the first failure is the first test of failover. And you got a 50-50 shot on that being successful if you've never tested it before. So test failover. Third thing, you ever been at the place where something goes down and you're like, oh, shoot, what is the IP address? You know, and you're looking through pieces of paper, you know, they're like, where did I put that? And like, oh, I've been there. That's, again, not the way to live an extraordinarily lazy network engineer life. Use the system. Go on this YouTube channel. There's a ton of videos I have for free. On NetBox, free open source documentation system that literally. So the best thing about NetBox, in my opinion, is the search functionality. It's got a Google-like lightning fast search to where, you know, I'm not going to tell you the site it was, but when we had the site go down this morning, I went in, typed in one part of the customer's name, it comes up, shows me their rack, shows me their equipment that's there, every IP address that's assigned to all those devices, fully logged and in place. It's just like, oh, extraordinarily lazy. That's what I'm saying. I can just look and go, okay, there's the IP. That's how I troubleshot. I think that's the word. That's how I troubleshot the connection. Is the public IP was showing down, private IP needed to ping it. Private IP was pinging. I was like, okay, so I'm putting puzzle pieces together. All of that was possible because I had taken the time. And please know, this is all these things. I'm on number 3 of 5, right? These things I've learned through pain, right? Through going through exactly what I'm talking about, the extraordinarily stressful situations where it's just like, I don't want to do that again. So it's laziness that motivates you. You're like, I want to sleep at night. I don't want to stress about that anymore. So put those things in NetBox or some other documentation system that's easy to find, not a spreadsheet that you're like, oh, is this the right version? I've got 50 versions of this spreadsheet. Where's that thing stored? All those kind of things. So, all right. Number 4 of 5, to live an extraordinarily lazy network engineering life is to know your action plan. This is primarily useful when you have multiple people involved. There are people who should jump in and do things. Will they? What should they do? How do you know that you're not doing the same thing at the same time? Whose job is it when, again, I'll use this morning as an example. When it's 7:15 in the morning, some people are sleeping, some people are awake, alarm goes off. Who does that? And do they have the knowledge to do it? We've got, at VIA, we've got some people that have knowledge more specific to servers, cloud architecture, things like that. We've got some people that have more network specific knowledge. So, okay, the light just went red. The device is down. You know what a lot of network engineers never do? Outline the action plan with the team and reinforce that action plan again and again. I know this is probably the job of management, but sometimes as a network engineer, you have to ensure your own survival. So when that thing goes red is not the time to figure out who does what, because what happens is you start getting that, if you're working on a team, you start getting that feeling like, why am I doing this? Mike is asleep. He's always asleep. Bob is, he should be on this shift, so it's not their fault. It's okay for people to sleep. You know what I mean? So it all comes from not defining what is our steps. When something goes down, who engages, what are they going to do, and how far are they going to do it? I see somebody typed in their arguments. Yeah, this is where people start finger pointing, and it just becomes not fun. It's not, as a lazy network engineer, you don't want to live that life. You want to be like, hey, kumbaya, man. I love it. I love what I do. I love waking up in the morning and seeing a red alarm and knowing that somebody else is handling it. That takes work. All right, last one. Last one on how to live the lazy network engineer life. This dog, you have to see this dog. This dog, it's not my dog, but every morning it just follows me this whole walk. And that, like I said, best dog I never had. I just forgot what I was going to say. Okay, so action plan, and then last one, assume no trust. There we go. It's my VIA mascot. Assume no trust. And what I mean by that is over the years, I have, I'm trying to say how to say it. Security is a thing, right? Knowing that your device is secure, it's good. Use a good password, set up an access control list, all those kind of things. What I mean when I say assume no trust is assume people will be doing bad things to your connection, to your devices, to your things all the time, because they will. Now again, remember the context of this. I'm not going to make this a security discussion, but if you want to live a lazy network engineer life and you see that thing go red, what's to say somebody didn't just unleash a denial of service attack because they could? Because they could, you know what I mean? Like, that's the world we live in. It's like, hey, there's an IP address that takes SSH on an open port. Let's just use the Tor network and flood that thing using a bunch of botted machines with attacks to the point where the thing freezes up. You know, that's one of the things that shoots through my head when I see it go red. I'm like, well, that's strange. You can still ping it, but you can't access it. Okay. Why is that? Why did it freeze up? You know, I'm assuming the firmware is good. I'm assuming it's not a software, you know, so it's those kind of things. So when I say assume no trust, what I mean is if you can lock it down, lock it down. There's two types of mentalities when it comes to security. What I call fishnet security, which is you've got a fishnet, you're catching the big fish, but all the minnows are sliding right through, right? Or you have the iron wall security, where it's like there's an iron wall there, and if you want to get in, you got to drill a hole through that wall. It's going to take some work. You know what I mean? That's so use the iron wall. Don't kind of use sarah. Everybody is good people. You know, assume no trust. Assume people are out there to hack your devices. And on my last walk, I could go on into network monitoring and how important that is, but I spent last Thursday, if you want to go back to that live stream, I probably spent 15 minutes talking just about monitoring and how critical that is. But as I thought about my list this morning, I thought, you know, if you really wanted to be lazy, you would just have no monitoring, and then you never know. Then you're sleeping at night. But that's I would say that's living in denial, living a network engineer of denial. So that's it. That's my 5 things. So ask questions. Let me hang on. Let me get my glove off here because it doesn't work on the screen. Rest in peace, SolarWinds. So go and chat in questions. If you came for those 5 things, that's it. Yeah, ask questions. I got about, let's see, I'm about 10 minutes from getting back. So that's it. So I got Rashad saying, where do you get all these mulch behind you? Are these really mulch? You know, actually, so if you're looking at around me, so Arizona is a desert, but we pretend like it's not. So we plant trees, we water the grass. So that's not mulch. That's literally rocks and landscaping. So that hopefully that gives you a better. No, we don't. We have mulch, but we don't do that. Dog following is wanting to learn about networking. Could be. This is, I don't even know what kind of dog this is, but that's it. It has a tag, and on it it says Solo. So maybe it's it knows I like Star Wars, so Solo is following me here. Let's see. Just recently got a UDM Pro to play around with, networking stuff. And even though they're not the best, I absolutely love it. Yeah, I agree mostly. I have a UDM Pro myself, and it runs my house. It runs camera surveillance, everything. And I like it until I don't. Ubiquity has gone, I mean, they're kind of the same thing that I'm about. I'm about keeping things simple. You know, let's just keep it simple, move it forward, get it done. And that's their theme as well. The challenge is with the UDM Pro, they've simplified things a little too much. Like I converted to the new graphic interface on the UDM Pro, and that's a great comment in there. How to calm people down. I want to take that one next. That could be a whole live stream in itself. So UDM Pro, I love it, but a lot of times I'm like, oh, I just want to do this, and I'm like, they've hidden it. Like I have to hack the interface to get to the things I need, because you know most people don't need that level of complexity. So I can see Ubiquity fighting themselves to where they're like, we're trying to keep it simple, but we're really good and we can do all the features. But the more features you have, the more complex it is. So anyway, I want to take the next question somebody asked on how do you keep people calm during the outage? So first off, that's a great question, because it's real. You're in the middle of things. People are like shadowing around you, and that does not connote lazy network engineer. It means like, they're what, is it up yet? How long till it's up? Have you called? Have you escalated? Those kind of things. What we do at VIA is, again, this goes back to having a plan, which is why I didn't dive too far into this, but it is figuring out beforehand when there is a network outage and you're the network engineer, you need to focus. The more scattered you are, the less effective you are. So that means a lot of times when it goes down, you're like, it's down. There should be somebody designated as the communicator. Now, I'll talk, if you're the one-man show, then let me talk to that. But there should be a designated communicator that you say, so we have, so at VIA, we have the services group, network services, and we have, actually they're called infrastructure services because it's gotten bigger now. And we have what we call the TAMs, the technical account managers. So when a connection goes down, first thing that happens is we go in Microsoft Teams. That's kind of our Slack. It would be an alternative. So we use Teams. We go, hey, this connection is down. Here's what I'm doing. Whoever the TAM is for this site, a lot of times the network engineer doesn't even know. Please, contact the customer, let them know what's up, all that kind of stuff. So we have a division of responsibility. If you're the one-man show, which is very common for a network engineer, when the connection goes down, what I will usually do is call whoever is the perceived authority. Like if it's your office, call the CEO, call your manager, call your director, whoever you report to, and just say, hey, connection's down, I'm investigating. I'll let you know as soon as I know something more, right? And then it's just just them knowing that lets them communicate to the organization, hey, Jeremy's on this, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. But you're right, it is difficult. I'm a natural communicator, so I just naturally do it. But a lot of network engineers I know don't have the thought. It's like it's not even a thought. Connection down, they're right into the trenches and they're troubleshooting. And oftentimes they're really good at troubleshooting, but they're so focused they don't even tell anybody, hey, connection down. It has to be part of that, going back to, I think that was number 4, having that plan. When something goes down, who does what and who knows what. So let's see. Any SLA breach experience? Yeah. It's not worth it. That's what I'll say. So I'm going to read into what you're saying with that. You have a carrier. They go down all the time. And they are in breach of their SLA, right? Our SLA says we will be up 99% of the time. Well, okay, so first thing to realize is know that these carriers are smart and they have a lot of lawyers and they are involved with a lot of things. So a lot of times I've had carriers that have literally been down for weeks at a time. That goes back to my redundancy discussion. Imagine the stress if you don't have redundancy and you've got multiple weeks. That's like a business-ending event, right? So I've pulled up the contract. I've gone through this so many times where I'm looking at the contract. I'm like, first off, it's all legalese. So you're like, what's it even mean? But they'll put stuff in there like, if we're down multiple days within a window and it's 8 times and it's up and like by the time it's said and done. So I've gone down the road of saying, hey, you are in violation of SLA. And so there will be 2 levels. One, they credit you money, right? Which ends up being like, hey, you were down for 2 days. Okay, you get $20 back. You're like, I just went through all of that for $20. It's not worth it. That's what I started the whole conversation with. But number 2, to get out of the contract, they usually make it like, okay, we have not only we are short of declaring bankruptcy as a company before we're letting you out of this contract. Like the amount of outages have to be so bad that I've never seen a carrier that would achieve that level of outage. I just pulled a fast one. Let's see if I can ditch the dog. I've never seen that level of outage except in extreme circumstance. So SLA, usually I would say know what you're getting into and put it in plain English for yourself before you sign up with that carrier. Because a lot of times it's like, oh yeah, just bring in the connection. Everybody's excited to get a new connection. That SLA matters. Johnny 5 saying, what else do you monitor beside up, down? What other sensors do you use besides just ping? So ping is always the number one. You're right, dog came back. Ping is always the number one. There he is. The second sensor, I always have a CPU and memory. CPU and a memory so that I know if there's a denial of service attacks. And bandwidth, SNMP traffic sensors to see what that interface is. Occasionally I'll have other things like, some of the more advanced sensors like quality of service. things like that. But most of the time, I would say that's my core 4-pack: ping, CPU, memory, traffic on all the interfaces that are relevant. So that's it. Let's see. Have you used Fortinac? Actually, I haven't. I haven't jumped into Fortinac yet. Carlo, do you give your employees a yearly pay increase and bonuses? Yeah. so VIA is so many ways to answer that. I believe, and one of the things we're in the process of implementing, implementing is like, I'll bite my finger as I say that. I believe in a metric-based performance system. What I mean by that is, I know for myself, I do better when there's goals to achieve. And if I achieve those goals, then there's bonuses, there's things like that. So I mean, we are truly in random discussion point. There is the idea of annual increases, and yes, we do that. But it's more so when we see somebody deserves it. So that's a better way of saying it, is yes, we do annually review. We don't always annually increase. But when we see somebody deserves an increase, yes, we do that. What I want to do is move it into more of a metric-based system. I think everybody should have something where they can overachieve, and as the business makes money, they make money. So that's my short answer. Question from Ben: because of COVID, and I'm coming up on my my exit point here, so got about 2 minutes left. Because of COVID, have you? Just scrolled right off. Have you seen a decrease or increase in clients and businesses? Thanks to COVID, we have seen a general increase in business because all of our customers are now going online. A lot of our customers are schools. So they're like, help us. I mean, hello? Help us do online training, online education. I'm like, we've got some knowledge on that. So yes, we have seen that. A general increase, but I know that's not true for everybody. Does CBT Nuggets have any series for network monitoring? No, nothing that I can say is directly related to network monitoring. I have put on this YouTube channel, I've put a bunch of videos. Just search this YouTube channel for PRTG. I did about, I don't know, six, 7 different videos on how to do monitoring with PRTG, which are principles that you can use for any system. What time of day is it? It is probably 8:15-ish. I can't see on the phone what time it is right now. So about 8:15 in the morning. An unusually cloudy day in Arizona. Good. Well, guys, I am reaching back to my home, so I'm gonna sign off. Thanks for all the chatting in. I appreciate you guys being here. I'll see you. I try to do these every Thursday, so I'll see you next Thursday. Talk to you later.